Welcome back to the news at 10. Time now for sports news with Ayotunde Balogun.
This is the ultimate redefined for men.
Time now for some sports news indeed. Following the home-based Eagles' successful completion of their international friendlies in South Africa, Nigerians in Pretoria are confident the team will perform well at the African Nations Championship in Rwanda. Football enthusiasts believe the team's last game against Pt.4 was a good test for the team, who will be chasing their first African Nations Championship title.
This is brilliant. The Ivorians call them Cote d'Ivoire or Ivory Coast, whichever. They're a good team. I think they were a good opposition for Nigeria. The fact that they passed the ball around. In fact, towards the end of the second half, they had possession, but the Nigerians kind of held them at bay, and then they couldn't break through. But they did have one or two chances. But on the balance of play, I think it was a much better performance from the Nigerians than the Ivorians. But again, this is a friendly tournament. Don't read too much into it. They're going to come out kicking and fighting when they get to Rwanda. So let's be positive, but let's also be circumspect. We need to be have an open mind. It's not going to be easy.
It was very impressive compared to what we saw against Angola and what they play against Tuks Pretoria University. So the game was very interesting, and the player, they really improved with the game we saw as well, most especially on the midfield, where we found Etebo and Batlume doing very well.
FIFA has dismissed Secretary General Jerome Valk with immediate effect. The former right-hand man to Sepp Blatter is accused of aiding a scheme to sell 2014 World Cup tickets on the black market. Mr. Valk was initially suspended on September the 17th last year after the Ethics Committee started an inquiry into allegations of corruption. The Frenchman, who has denied any wrongdoing, also faces a £68,000 fine on charges including conflicts of interest, as well as offering and accepting gifts and other benefits. To some results now in the English Premier League, Manchester City played out a goalless draw with Everton at the Etihad. James McLean scored a late equaliser as West Bromwich Albion forced champions Chelsea to a 2-2 draw at Stamford Bridge. Southampton defeated Watford 2-0, while Jermaine Defoe scored a hat-trick as troubled Sunderland secured a crucial 4-2 victory at Swansea City. Nigerian international Osaze Odemege returned to the pitch after a lengthy injury layoff as Stoke City thrashed Norwich by 3-1. AS Roma have parted company with head coach Rudy Garcia. Well, the Italian Serie A side had begun the season with hopes of winning the league title, but a poor start has hampered their progress, seeing them fall behind the likes of Napoli, Internazionale and Juventus. And with their form failing to pick up, the former Lille manager has now left Roma, with the club chairman saying it is the right time for a change. And that's a wrap in sports news. I'm Ayotunde Balogun. Gimba will be back with the rest of the news at 10.
This is the ultimate redefined for men.
Tragedy struck in the French Alps as an avalanche kills 2 French children and a Ukrainian tourist. The group of 9 students and their teacher had been skiing in the area of a closed piste situated on the particular icy north-facing side of the mountain. Elsewhere, the U.S. has thanked Iran for its swift release of 10 U.S. sailors held for entering its territorial waters. Adeshawa Josh reports.
10 U.S. sailors are very likely on their way home, having been released by Iranian authorities after they unintentionally delved into its territorial waters. Iran said it was releasing the group because they had apologized. The naval commander of the Revolutionary Guards, General Ali Fadavi, said investigations revealed that a navigational failure was to blame.
This is not
U.S. President Barack Obama last night gave his last State of the Union address, hitting a positive note for all Americans. The president reeled out achievements of his administration and emphasized the United States' influence on the rest of the world.
Diminishes us in the eyes of the world. It makes it harder to achieve our goals. It betrays who we are as a country.
Meanwhile, Republican presidential hopefuls attacked many of his assertions. The Ethiopian government has halted plans to expand borders of the country's capital, Addis Ababa, following weeks of protest in the country's second largest region, Oromia. Human rights groups say as many as 140 people have lost their lives in the protests, which have been quite bloody. But the ruling party in the Oromia region said it was dropping plans of expansion following discussions with local people. That's the foreign news wrap-up. Gimba?
And the main news again. The Federal Executive Council has approved $200 million World Bank loan for the Lagos state government. The loan is part of a $600 million facility granted by the World Bank to fund infrastructure development projects in the state. And the controversy over the alleged missing 2016 budget persists. The leadership of the upper legislative chamber has launched an investigation into allegations of the missing document. And the chairman, chief executive officer of Channels Television, Mr. John Momoh, has advocated a military media partnership to promote national security. And 2 French pupils and a tourist are killed after an avalanche sweeps away school children on a skiing trip in the French Alps. And that's how it's been on the news at 10 tonight. I want to thank you so much indeed for being a part of it. I'm Gimba Umar on behalf of the entire production team. Have a splendid night rest. Good night.